actually, I was in China 2 years ago for the first time when I went to Beijing in China.
Yes.
For that reason, I had coworkers of mine from a musical theater school here in New York, and we went there specifically to work with Chinese students in learning about American musical theaters. So we taught them singing in that case. And so some of the students we met, of course, played piano as well.
Yes.
Many, I understand from China that many of the students start taking piano lessons when they're 5 years old.
Yes.
So it's part of the culture there, and which I found was interesting. I started piano when I was 8 years old, so I was a little older.
8 years old.
8 years old.
Piano.
Well,
Wow.
that's pretty normal for Americans. But in China, and I know in a lot of the Asian countries, they start young at 5. I said, well, that was interesting to me. And so they were very excellent. So the students who were maybe 25 had already had 20 years of piano, even though they're only 25. I said, wow, they're very good for only 25. So that impressed me. One of the big differences between what we do in America, in a lot of music thing, is in much of China, the training is, of course, in classical music, like we do here.
Classical music,
Right, we do the same thing. So we learn Beethoven and Chopin and Liszt and Bach and Mozart and all those. That's still the same here. But what we found out, that many of them didn't know a lot about American composers, American music, American jazz, American Broadway shows, and things like this, and that's why we went there.
Did you do director in the Broadway show?
I didn't direct a Broadway show, but I have done off-Broadway shows and little theater shows and cabaret shows and many concerts, small concerts, Merkin Hall, Carnegie Hall, things of that nature. So a lot of performances with Broadway singers in concerts like that, in big theaters. One of which, like I said, was Carnegie Hall. I did that a number of years ago. Then we perform a lot of those in front of large audiences.
Yes.
So, but like I said, in China, I was here to help the Chinese students learn about this. So we know shows like Phantom of the Opera and Les Miserables and things like this and all that. And the students, they said, oh, we don't know these songs. I said, you don't? And so I said, oh, wow, this is interesting. So we taught them, and I know jazz music. They didn't know jazz music. So when I would start to play the piano.
Oh, jazz music, yeah.
Right, like swing and jazz and things like this. They knew how to play piano very well.
Yes.
But they were
Last time I saw you play piano very well, yeah.
Well, that was because when I was about 13 years old, I started with jazz lessons.
Oh, jazz, yeah.
Yes, because I had that when I was young, and when I was in school, in high school, I played in jazz bands. When I went to college, I played in jazz bands and rock and roll bands and all kinds of bands. So I got used to playing that music. And then later on, after college, I would play in hotels and restaurants.
Yeah.
I'm from Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay.
So that was my home.
Oh,
so
Washington, D.C. your home, yeah.
And that's my home. And so I got to play at a lot of the embassies and a lot of the consulates there in Washington when I was a young man playing in my career. So I got to meet a lot of ambassadors, also congressmen, senators from the U.S. and things like this, because I would play their parties. And that was always a lot of fun, being from Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay.
But like I say, I would play a lot of jazz. And so going back to China and watching all these great students play piano, they did very well. But when I would play jazz, they would look at me and say, I said, how do you do that? And because we were trained that way here. And so part of what we did was to try to show them, okay, well, you do this with your chords, you have a different technique, you use what you do with your classical, and then learn different things about how to change the styles. So when I would play things like for Elise, la da 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 dee da dum, da 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 dee da dee da, I said, okay, that's fine, that's how it goes. But then I would say, how about this? Pa ba da ba da ba dee da dum, ba da da dee. Da, 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 da. And all of a sudden, they said, oh, well, that's a little different.
Yeah. Yes,
and that's more jazzy, which is something we are trying to do, is to introduce some of those things that American jazz has, and to show the Chinese population that, yes, these are things that are we have grown up with. Just like in the Chinese culture, there's Chinese opera and a lot of Chinese music that is...
Chinese opera is different than European opera.
Very much so. Very much so. And it's a different kind of singing, too. And that's, from being American when we came over to China. Said, well, we were interested in that too.
Yes.
So we learned to cooperate both countries to try to learn from each other. And that's what I found interesting.
We know music give people passion.
Yes.
Your time, lots of Chinese people. Look, your time, I just retired and go to travel. I don't
Right.
play, but the music give you a very good passion, like a
Oh, yes.
20-year boy. Why?
Yeah. Music, there was an old song in America a long time ago,
Yeah.
and it had the words, music is a universal language.
Universal language, correct. Yeah.
And it's true, because even if we speak different languages, something that always brings us together is music. And so that was something from the time I was 8 years old, or even 5 years old, when I started picking up songs on the piano.
Yeah.
I never thought of doing anything else. It was a passion. That's why most people, even men or women who are in their 80s or 90s sometimes, are still playing piano because it's a passion they have. It doesn't matter. You never retire. You always do it because you have a passion, because it's something that's inside your soul.
Oh, okay.
That's the difference. It's inside your soul. It's not just on the paper. It's not just on the instrument. It's something that's in your heart and soul from inside, not just out there.
Okay. Now another question. For me, 50-year-old, I like music. I like singer.
Mm-hmm.
But how to play piano? I want to learn piano. Could you teach me?
Sure. First thing,
Yeah.
you need a keyboard or a piano.
Keyboard, yeah.
You gotta have that.
Okay.
And it's interesting because most adults
Yeah.
over 50 or 40 or whatever actually do pretty well. The problem that adults have
Yeah.
is that their jobs, of course, are very important, and it's sometimes very little time to practice.
Yes.
That's the hard part. If you can find time to practice, you will do fine. Some of us are working 60, 70 hours a week, and that makes it hard. So I could give you a song today, for example,
Yes.
and I said, okay, by next week, today is Wednesday, by next Wednesday you have to have this down, and you have to have this down. Would you have time to do it? And that's the question.
Yes, I have time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's my point. You start with something very basic, like we have 10 fingers.
2 fingers, yes.
Right,
Good.
okay?
Yeah.
And even before you play a keyboard, one of the exercises I give people is to basically think of each finger as a different number.
Oh.
Now, in English, of course, we would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si.
Right, okay. So I'll just use English for now. The thumbs are finger 1, finger 2, finger 3, finger 4, finger 5. So the little finger is 5. That's in
Yeah.
both hands. So what I have my students do when they first start is I'll have their hands like this. I'll have them put off to the side so they can't see them. So I would say, or put your let's say your right hand over there somewhere.
Yeah.
Just do it over there. No, I mean just like over here, over your head.
Okay, yeah.
Now, without looking at your hand, no, just leave it there. And without looking, you have to say, okay, which one is finger 1? This is very simple, by the way. 1 is that, or 2 is that, 3 is that. I'm not looking, correct?
Okay, correct.
Okay, because when you play the piano and you look at music, you can't just be looking at your fingers all the time.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. But if I said 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 5, 5, which is a song we called Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Yes.
Okay, by doing those fingers, you actually then start playing a song even before you play the keyboard.
Keyboard, yes.
So if I said 3, that's this finger, 3, 2, 1, 2, and I'm not looking at my fingers. So move 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3.
Don't look at the keyboard, just from memory.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the reason is you put your hands in position for the keys first.
Yes.
Okay, so you might have the do, which we call C.
Yeah.
So it has thumb, number 1 is on C,
C.
2 is on D, 3 is on E, 4
Yeah.
is on F, 5th is on G.
Yeah.
So then, if I leave my hands there, so I just, okay, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. And if you sing it, it would be 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, or we say mi, re, do, re, mi, mi, mi. And you've done all that without looking at your hands.
Okay.
And so then when you go to a keyboard, it's the same thing, and then you played your first song.
Yes, in my home I have a very good piano.
Good.
And next time I can with you go to my home. You can start to
Yes.
to teach me.
Right,
Okay.
because that's how you start. I mean, that's just the very start. But the left hand will sometimes play 3 notes at a time called a chord.
Oh.
But the same thing. You have 5, 3, and 1. And if I played 5, 3, 1 with 3, 2, 1, you have now played your first song in just 5 minutes
Okay.
with the right hand playing a melody and the left hand playing a chord, and then you've done your first song.
Okay, very good. Okay, another question. Play piano is I will learn. Yeah, how to do a singer? Singer is lots of people is have a good singer. Singer is
Yes.
very to song is very good for health.
Yes, very much, especially
How
for
to-
breathing.
It's very yes.
For breathing. Well, that's part of it. There are 2 main things you have to be able to do when you sing, and this is very interesting.
Yeah.
Open your mouth and breathe.
Both, yeah.
And breathe. And that's it. Because when you talk, you and I are talking right now.
Yeah.
If you can talk, you can sing.
Yes, you have to.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah, right.
Because when our voices get excited, our voice goes up here. It gets high sounding. If we get sad, the voices go down here.
Yeah.
Well, that's singing because I'm getting excited, so my singing is high. But if I'm sad, it goes down here. It's very low, and it goes down there. So that's all. That's what singing is. It's the same thing as speaking, but just putting more sound out.
Okay. Actually, very good passion.
Passion.
Yeah.
Everything about music is passion, whether it's playing a piano, playing a different instrument like a violin, whether it's about singing,
Yeah.
whether it's about playing a drum with your foot tapping. It's all about having the passion to do what you want to do.
Yes.
And the audience, people love it. They help excite you.
Oh.
They help excite you because it's so much more interesting. And even a dancer, when they are dancing on the stage, they're making all these movements because they have the passion.
Yes.
And that's anything we do in life has to have that passion. Whatever you want to do, it doesn't even have to be music. You put with a passion.
Yeah. Passion is for go to success for simple. Yeah.
Everything for business,
For business. Yeah.
music, for politics, for government, for anything. You have to have that passion to believe in what you believe in and really hold that strongly.
How to keep passion these years for you?
It's not hard because I do it every day.
Every day. Yeah.
Because what helps me is I do many different things. Sometimes I will teach a piano lesson. Sometimes I will teach a voice lesson. Sometimes I will perform in a show.
Yeah.
I will perform in a restaurant like we met. I will sometimes perform at a concert on a big stage, or sometimes I will play at a performance in a very small place. What gives me the passion is the many different things I can do
Yeah.
that helps to entertain people.
Yeah. Yes. For passion is feels every people forever 21 feel oh I'm young. I can do everything.
Yes.
I can very well. I'm health.
Yes. Yes. If you're healthy and you have to want to do something. If you don't want to do piano and you want to sing, that's fine too. Whatever you want to do, you really go for it and do it with your passion. And the more passion you have, the better you will be at whatever that is, including playing piano.
Oh, okay, very good.
It's about passion.
And last question is, what is your favorite job? What is your dream?
Oh my goodness. I have so many. My favorite dream is probably performing with a big orchestra.
Big orchestra.
Big orchestra, like symphony orchestra. I have actually already had my dream a few years ago when I played for a television star who was a singer, and we performed at the very famous Carnegie Hall a number of years ago.
Carnegie Hall, yeah.
Carnegie Hall.
Oh.
Long has performed
I know
in Carnegie
that.
Hall.
Yes.
Yes. So that I think is most of our dreams.
Yes.
I was able to do that about 20 years ago, and that was and I will be performing at Carnegie Hall again coming up in March. In this coming March, I'll do that again.
Yes.
So that I think is a lot of our dream, to perform in places that are famous, that are very, very good for people to come and recognize you. I have been on 5 cruise ships. I have enjoyed traveling the world. Those are all part of my business, and I love doing that.
Yes, very, very good. I hope you are future, you are a good artist.
Well, thank you very much, and I
Thank
hope
you.
we can do things again in the future.
Yeah, yes, yes. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
谢谢。